I'm Stephon Gilmore of the New England Patriots, and you watching Chopping It Up with Buck.
On this week's edition of Chopping It Up with Buck, I'm glad I'm not the tight end or the wide receiver anymore because Gilly Lock will lock you down. Stephon Gilmore, my man from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Gotten a chance to know him here in the Charlotte area. I see him working on his craft even when he is just thinking about it. So it's good to have you on, Steph. How's the COVID been treating you and your family?
It's been good, but it's been tough, just not being able to go places, with the wife and the kids, and it's tough, but it's something we have to go through, and just one thing. This time I spend a lot of time with my family, so that's one thing that I'm trying to look at it in a positive way.
Yeah, that's been one of the best things I think too. You and I talked about that. Normally, you would be in off-season prep, you'd be getting ready to head back to New England or be in New England doing that, but you've had a chance to still work out, but spend more time with the kids and your wife and just kind of doing that, which is kind of unusual for this time of year for you probably.
Yeah, it's very unusual. The kids will be in, daycare or school. And, you really get to know your kids. You get to learn your wife more. And, it's been a good experience. It's been tough. You think the kids is easy, but they nonstop all day. So, but I enjoy every moment.
Well, I think it's helped you with your bump and run skills. If you got to play man coverage on two little ones, I know the feeling. Hey, one thing, I got to know who you were in high school. You played at South Point down in Rock Hill. Everybody talked about Jadeveon Clowney, who was a beast in his own right. But you were the quarterback on that team. You were highly recruited, Mr. South Carolina. You ended up going to South Carolina. I can remember calling the spring game and talking to your coaches about you and your ability and how you were able to do that. Tell us how being a quarterback in high school and playing multiple sports helped you do what you do now.
Yeah, it definitely helped me. I grew up playing basketball, playing baseball, running track, so obviously football. So I think with me playing all those sports, it helped me in different ways. It helped me, meet new people, getting used to different coaching, and things like that. But I think playing quarterback, it helped me, as far as playing corner, I know what the quarterback is thinking. I know the drop, I know his 5-step drop. I know the I formation. I know what they're trying to get to. So I break the game down a little bit more easier just because I know what the quarterback is thinking.
You say something that's interesting. I think a lot of people think you just get on the field on game day, but the prep work. I saw you and Baldinger doing an episode on NFL Network, and I thought that was insightful. Whether it's 4x1 or 3x1, the things that just from alignment and assignment and formation kind of dictates, because offenses can only do so much, even though we want to spread you out and do that. But you were really talking about some things that you knew, or even Amari Cooper had run a route earlier. He was running a drag. You said he's running too fast, I just cut underneath him. Tell us about, some of the little tricks of the trade there when you're really trying to compete every single week against guys you see and they're talented, but you got to hold them down.
Yeah, for sure. Like you say, each and every week it changes. So, I try to be prepared as much as I can, just because, a lot of talented guys in this league. But, it's one thing about this game, the mental is probably over half percentage of winning each and every snap. Knowing what the quarterback is thinking, knowing what the receiver like to do. Those little things like that, it make your job that much easier. You don't always have to rely on your athletic ability. You just playing the game. It's just like you study for a test. You study in the whole week. If you really study for it as hard as you can, on Sunday, that's the easy part.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that, because when you get an interception or a play that you've seen on tape and you're able to do that, who helped you with that? Who was your biggest influence growing up to kind of learn the game of football and learn life, actually?
I had a lot of guys, that I grew up, mentored really and showed me, like Jonathan Joseph, He's from Rock Hill, hometown guy, and Sheldon Brown. So I was lucky to have those guys, and I wanted to play corner, and those guys played corner. So just me talking to them, them playing in the league before I got in the league. Jonathan Joseph still playing, and it's always good to have even Dre Bly, my trainer.
Yeah.
It's good to have guys that played the game and know what you're going through. Even Ty Law, he, a guy that helped me out that's been through it, that's going through what I'm going through, and I always looked up to guys, and I was never scared to ask them for any advice because they've been there, done that.
Yeah. Now you talk about Dre Bly. I've seen some of your videos with you and he working out. That's always intriguing to me because Dre is, coaching at North Carolina. You're a South Carolina guy, but you said, hey, look, I'm going to get the best guy in the area to work with me and make me work more, especially now that we've not been able to be with our teams and our coaches and different things like that. Tell us a little bit about that relationship.
It's a great relationship. I reached out to Dre three and a half years ago, and he helped me out a lot before he had the North Carolina job. He was always in the coaching after he played. I said, let me reach out. I know Dre, man. I used to watch him. My dad used to watch him, when I was a kid. So, he had 43 career picks, and I'm like, well, why wouldn't I want to learn from that? That's a lot of, you can't take that away from him. So, he get on me each and every day, and it's been a great experience. Like I said, anytime those guys that played the game and know what you've been through, it's a great thing.
What's one or two key things he really is working with you on now that a 3-time Pro Bowler, you NFL Defensive Player of the Year? People sometimes come at you, but they seem to kind of go away from you now that you've got that, lockdown corner, kind of cover corner guy, the Revis Island. You're kind of quiet, but I know you're competitive as hell. So what has he done to push you to even be better than what you've been so far?
It's the little things, it's the little things that, no matter how much you do it, how much you break, it's the little things where you got to, keep your eyes on the target, not peek in the backfield. It's the little things that if you don't really sharpen up in the off season, that's how you get beat during the season. So he really break it down where, if I don't do something right, he make me start over, drop a ball, it's that counts, you got to do it over. So things like that where, not getting complacent and trying to get better each and every year.
Now, you play for Bill Belichick, some consider one of the top defensive minds in the game. But I thought, reading about this, you were saying something interesting. When you were at Buffalo, you had a different defensive coordinator every year. Even at New England, you've had a different defensive coordinator, but Bill is still the guy that is the mastermind of everything you do there. Tell us a little bit about that and how that's helped you grow as a player.
It's been great, the consistency, in New England. And like you said, in Buffalo, I had, I want to say 3 different head coaches in 5 years, and probably 4 different defensive coordinators. So it was always hard to sometimes, get comfortable in the system, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's you still got to get the job done. That's the name of the game. But like in New England, got a little bit more consistency, knowing the players around me more, playing with those guys for a couple of years, and the same terminology is the same. So 3 years, I got better and better, and hopefully I keep it going this year.
I always ask people who was the toughest guy you played against, and we laughed right away because we live in Charlotte, in the Charlotte area, and you didn't bat a beat. You didn't stop. Steve Smith. Tell us a little bit about Smitty and your first introduction to him the very first time you played him.
Man, it was when he was in Baltimore, and Steve is he's very competitive. He's total opposite of me. He's more loud, in the field, and it was a running play, and he came up and blocked me, right? And the ref blows the whistle, and he just keep locking on to my shoulders. And he's staring at me, not blinking, just staring at me for like 15, 20 seconds, and I'm chopping his hands down, trying to get him off me. That's right then and there. I'm like, this dude is a different cat, you know. So
Well, you and DeAndre Hopkins had some good battles in college too. I mean, that's when you think about it, watching Clemson and watching South Carolina. South Carolina at the time was really a team that was playing some good football. 11 wins 3 years in a row. You guys had the Mr. South Carolina every year, the 3 years in a row. Tell us a little bit about those battles against your rival Clemson, and in particular DeAndre Hopkins when you played him.
Oh, it was great. Me going to South Carolina, a lot of, I guess, so-called big-time players, in high school didn't like to stay in state. So I wanted to be a guy that, go to South Carolina and change the culture. And once I committed, we had a lot of players like Alshon Jeffrey, DJ Swearinger, Marcus Lattimore. You had a lot of players, Jadeveon Clowney, a lot of players after that, that just wanted to join, and I hated Clemson. I just hated them. It's a rivalry. You hated to lose against them, and I never lost to them my career there. So I have that bragging right.
Now, I know they recruited you. You were on their list, but you told me something interesting that you even looked out west. Even I went to UCLA. We were talking about you even looking out west a little bit, but you decided to stay closer to home. What were some of the schools where you finally said, "Hey, these are the ones that I'm picking"? Clemson, I guess they were out of it early, but South Carolina, how did the Gamecocks beat them out of that battle?
A lot of people thought I was going to Clemson, because my roommate at the time, a guy that I went to school with, Devontae Holloman, he committed to Clemson. And a lot of people was like, oh, he's going to go to Clemson also. But it just didn't feel right in my heart, and I ended up, committing to South Carolina. But it was really between Alabama and South Carolina when it came down to it. So, I wanted to stay home. And I knew South Carolina, they was good. They had a great defense at the time. We had a great defensive coordinator. And they just needed, like, a player like myself at corner, and we had one of the best defenses, I think, to ever play in the SEC.
Yeah. Well, the story was, too, when we were calling your spring game, Clowney was so disruptive that Coach Spurrier wouldn't let him practice sometimes. I tell people that all the time because in listening, is that true or is that just something that Spurrier likes to tell people so he can make this guy even bigger than life, which he is?
Yeah. Spurrier, he took care of his players,
yeah.
I would say. He know what it's like. He knows it's a physical game. So, he took care of his players. And, we didn't want anything to happen to him, Sure.
And the thing about Spurrier, which I miss about him on the college level, I coached against him in the AAF. So I got a chance to see that Orlando team. By the way, we beat them. We may have played them in the championship if we got there. He can talk more trash than a lot of people can. And he does it in a way that he will get you, and he knows how to fire people up. I'm sure you guys like playing for a guy like that.
Yeah, for sure. He's a sneaky trash talker. I would say that, but he was a great coach. He was an offensive guy, but he loved defense a little bit, but he was majority offense. But he was a great coach. He recruited well. And I'm glad he was my college coach.
Yeah. Now, growing up, coach-wise, there's always mentors. The players I know that help you out, but some of the people that were big influences on you, your parents or coaches, who were those folks in the Rock Hill area who've been behind you from ever since you were a young guy?
Yeah, I would say my dad. My dad was a guy that, as a kid, I was more of a quiet, laid-back kid, but I was talented. But sometimes as a kid, you play against guys and they may be a little bit better than you at the time. And, but my dad, I felt like he brought a little bit more confidence out of me, at a young age. He used to tell me how good I was. He used to tell me, you got it. You got the potential, and I just kept working, kept working. I still remember to the day he put me through cone drills at 7, 8 years old, but he always gave me that extra confidence I needed, especially from a dad that I believed in. One day it just clicked, and I think he was a big influence on my life today.
Yeah, it's interesting. So he was always encouraging. He was pushing you.
He was pushing.
Always, yeah. I mean, he knew.
I always just he used to be on me, but I used to be like, why is he on me so much? But now that I look back, it was a good thing because I could just look at him in the stands or look at him, and we had that connection that you got to step it up, So it was good.
Now, your first interception in the league, or your first pick six, I think you had 2 this year. Did he get the game? Did he get that ball, or did you keep it in your house?
He didn't get that ball, but he's my biggest fan. He's never missed a game. I remember as a kid, he used to tape I never could play a game unless my ankles was taped. So he used to spat me up. He was one of the reasons why I played the game. So it was good.
That's good stuff. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Stephon Gilmore on Chopping It Up with Buck.
Many people are looking for natural alternatives to help ease their aches and pains. Begin stopping the pain with the help of Pain Stopper. Formulated by healthcare providers, Pain Stopper helps alleviate a variety of physical ailments so you can get back to doing what you love. Our products are triple independently lab tested to ensure the highest quality hemp available. Visit PainStopCBD.com for more information. Pain Stopper, because why manage pain when you can stop it?
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
All right, we're back with Chopping It Up with Buck. Hey, I know most people don't realize the hate that South Carolina and Clemson have. These guys have all grown up. This is Mr. Football, Stephon Gilmore, who was in those battles. And we were talking during the break, and he reminded me, Sammy Watkins was the guy that he covered a lot more. They had Martavis Bryant. They had some talent that you had to fend with every game. And who was I know Sammy was the guy that made plays, but who was the guy that talked a lot? Because it doesn't seem like Nuke talks as much either. I mean, he seems to be a pretty quiet guy until you get under his skin.
I don't think none of those guys talked as much. It was, but Sam was supposed to be the guy in college. He made a lot of plays in college. Obviously they had DeAndre Hopkins and they had Martavis Bryant. They great receiver. They call him wide receiver U for a reason. So they put him in the league, but it was a great rivalry. But one thing about us at that time in South Carolina, we wasn't going to lose to those guys. Like it was, I definitely hated those guys. Like it was like we're not losing this game. Like we do whatever it takes to not lose the game.
As good as you guys were, who pushed you in practice? I mean, because your defense was on point. They were the tops in the SEC at that time, always in ball games. Who that you went against every day helped you get better?
Alshon Jeffrey, he was a great receiver. Literally every day in practice, one-on-ones. Me and him as the first guys up each and every day, and we pushed each other every day. We fight, we did it all, but we got each other better, and that's what it took. It was great to have a guy on your team that that much talent and that height, and you had to bring him to go up against him.
Yeah, we talked about the tight ends y'all had there, Cook, Wesley Saunders. Y'all had a pretty good group of tight ends as well. Did you have to go down in the trenches much, or did you stay outside?
I didn't stay in there. Only time I'm in there is if it's zone and I'm on the backside. So I was in the trenches too much.
I hear you. Well, it's interesting too in doing a little research. Your family, you got a very talented brother, sister. You're the oldest of 6 or the youngest of 6?
6.
Oldest of 6. But all of your siblings, or most of them, and your dad, I know he was a really good athlete too. Tell us a little bit about what that's like to have your younger brother, younger sister, and other family members in sports.
It was great. All my family members played sports. three of us got scholarships to play at the next level. I have a little brother at Marshall University right now. He plays corner. A little sister at Marion right now. She plays basketball. My other sisters play sports. Graduated from South Carolina, and we had a talented family. Growing up in a big family, you learn how to push each other. And I was the first one, so they all looked up to me. So I had to set a good example for them to be successful in life and in sports.
Yeah. So Steph, you worked out with your brother. I know he looks up to you, but has he tried to challenge you a little bit for that top supremacy since you're the top dog?
He don't really challenge me with his mouth, but he challenged me when we got on the field. He's tried to beat me in drills and beat me on the track, and I got to remind him he pushed me, so I can't let him win. I'm very competitive, but it's been good to train with him and my sister that's playing basketball right now, and train with them and try to push them. And in life, sometimes life moves so fast. Sometimes you don't really get to spend as much time, but I feel like this time right now it slowed it down, so it's been a good time.
There's a lot of attention to Rock Hill. I know South Carolina. Everybody talks about football being the thing in that city. I think it's Football City is what they call it. But the one thing I want to know, and we talked about this the very first time I met you, all the young talent that's coming out there. What have you done for your city to try to get that talent, to get them to school, get them, I know you got some foundational things that you're doing and trying to help young kids see the vision and see you and say, hey, I can get here at some point as well.
For sure. I mean, I go back to my high school, my middle school, and try to show my face. And I had camps there, football camps, to come back and let them know that I was once in your shoes. I was once, walking these halls. I was once, living in your situation. I had a goal that I wasn't going to let nothing stop me from going there. And I dedicated myself each and every year in the classroom and on the field to be the best player I could be. So that's my thing. I just try to go back and, let them see me, because, you can say anything, you can send anything, but when they actually see you there and a real, Super Bowl champion or bowler, that's a real guy here right in front of me that speaks volumes.
Well, you get 9th year in the league. It seems like you're getting younger. What is it that you have to do to stay on top? I mean, what is it that you have to continually do to keep that edge? I know we were talking the other day about you getting on the track, all the things you're doing, stretching. How, when you get to that year 9, you can get to 15, I'm sure, and even more if you want. But what is it that you have to do as a defensive back to keep yourself fresh and shape and all of those different things?
You work out a lot, but you have to also be smart as far as taking care of your body and getting the treatments. If something not feeling so well on you, make sure you get ahead of the game and take care of that. And just keep being confident. You can always watch film and try to get better, because, it's like in life, I can have in football, I can have a 60-play snaps, and one snap, I could have done that better. It's the times in the games where, you've seen something on film, you can't really believe it sometimes, and you like, I should have made that play because I knew it was coming, but that little voice in your head is telling you, oh, okay, maybe it's not. It's those things like that keep me hungry and keep me going and keep pushing me each and every year.
Trust yourself, basically. I mean, if you see it and it's there, you got to just react like you normally would. Yeah. Yep. Now tell us about the little ones. I know they got you running around. Have you? And you don't have them in daycare, so you become the daycare as well as working out. Who's the most athletic out of the two, your daughter or your son right now, or both?
I don't know right now. My wife ran track in college, so they should be athletic for sure, but they nonstop from 7:30 all the way to 9 o'clock at night nonstop. It's tough, they don't want to listen to you sometimes. You know, it's a tough thing, but I enjoy every moment because I know eventually they go get older and, you know, they may not want to hang out with you as much, but, you know, I try to enjoy each and every moment because I know that time will come.
Hey, Steph, what we do here is we always kind of finish it up. I appreciate your time, but what we do is we call it a 2-minute drill. The first one is, what music do you like, and what's in your Apple Music that you listen to consistently when you're getting a workout in?
I like Afro beats. I listen to little Afro beats. I listen to rap, obviously, and I listen to. But if my go-to is probably Afro beats, you know, it's not too hardcore and it's kind of relaxing, and that's what I listen to.
Yeah, Cam Newton getting picked up by New England. What was your first reaction?
I was excited. You know, I know how great a player he is. You have a great opportunity. You know, he's been working his off season. Everybody see it, and you know, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for our team, and I can't wait to get started.
The best trash talk you've heard from Coach Spurrier about your team or another team?
Best trash talk from Spurrier.
Because it's sneaky, like you said. It's not one of the. I mean, he can get you now.
Very sarcastic. You know, he's very. You gotta really think about. You know, I can't think of nothing specific right now.
Did he ever? Go ahead.
The defense can be playing great the whole game, but if one mistake happens, he gonna call it out. He only need one mistake. He don't pay attention to the defense until you mess up.
Hey guys, what's guys? What are we doing? Well, hey, we're driving down the field, but I think you got your defense is ready to step up. Hey, you know, when you think about life and what you've been able to accomplish, what's been the biggest accomplishment for you in the NFL?
Biggest accomplishment for me individually is probably, you know, winning that award this past year. You know, it's a lot of hard work goes into it. It's not an individual award. You know, it's a team award, but it's very tough to win that award, Defensive Player of the Year. So I couldn't have done it without my teammates. I couldn't have done it without the coaches. But I feel like there's only one player that can win that award each and every year, and it's a lot of great players in the National Football League. And, you know, that's probably one of the biggest awards I ever won in my career.
NFL Defensive Player of the Year, which is huge. Now you got a knockdown. You didn't pick it and take it to the house. Next one, this is going to be funny, and this is an easy one for you. Who's the funniest guy in y'all's huddle right now at New England?
Funniest guy? I'll say Edelman. He don't be quiet in the training room, and you know, he's very edgy, talk a lot of junk, very tough. Funny guy, man. He don't be quiet.
Well, you undercut it, picked it off, took it for 6, you scored. Easy. I told you it was easy, man. Well, hey, man, it's good catching up with you. You know, not often do we have a guy that's currently playing, but the way COVID is, it's been so good to catch up with you. And I know I'll see you in our travels in South Charlotte because we always kind of bump into each other. Thanks for coming on the show, and we really appreciate your time on Chopping It Up with Buck. Stephon Gilmore.
Thank you, Buck. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a pleasure to be on with you.
Gilly Lock. That's what you like to be called, right? You're locking them down. How did that name come up? How'd you come up with Gilly Lock?
The Gilly Lock, but I like on my Instagram, it's Bump and Run.
Okay.
I press a lot, so I'm a press corner mostly, so Bump and Run. So it was a good handle at the time, so I just took it and ran with it.
Bump and Run. I love it. All right, man. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Hi, I'm Mike Gardner, founder of Thin Energy, the wellness energy that delivers each and every time.
In 6 weeks that I've been taking Thin Energy, I feel fantastic.
I lost 7 pounds in the first week.
You just squeeze it in, you take a shot, and you're done.
Get your drinks, get you hype, get you ready.
I feel great.
Jump on, try Thin Energy.
Drink it, live it.
Many people are looking for natural alternatives to help ease their aches and pains. Begin stopping the pain with the help of Pain Stopper. Formulated by healthcare providers, Pain Stopper helps alleviate a variety of physical ailments so you can get back to doing what you love.
Our products are triple independently lab tested to ensure the highest quality hemp available.
Visit PainStopCBD.com for more information. Pain Stopper, because why manage pain when you can stop it?
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.